Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about lash serums. Lash serums are very dear to my heart because I've got quite short, stumpy eyelashes, and I have used an eyelash serum for many years, probably, I don't know, say 7 or 8 years, something like that, with great success. But obviously things have changed now. There's been ingredients that are no longer legally allowed in products, so I've done my research all over again because there didn't used to be very much choice. I remember when there was a choice between Lilash and I think it was Jan Marini at the time. Anyway, I've done my research to find out what's the one I'm going to buy next. And I thought I would let you guys know what my findings were, and then you can make an informed decision yourself. So it's kind of complicated, and this top half, I've got my spreadsheet, and the top half is kind of folded over because I wasn't sure if there was any point in telling you about these ingredients because it probably won't mean very much to you, but I will run through it and you can ignore it if you like, but I'll try and be quick. The first ingredient to talk about is bimatoprost, and that is a prostaglandin, and it is the only ingredient proven to increase length and volume and to make eyelashes grow. It's the only ingredient that you can actually guarantee will have an effect on your eyelashes. You know, it's like the same as pretty much taking a paracetamol will work for a headache. I suppose that's not really true, actually. It doesn't work for me, but you know what I mean. It's not just a guessing game. That one's proven. Then there is isopropyl chlorprostonate, and that is something that is chemically similar to bimatoprost, and this is the one that was in Rapidlash, was it? Did I put in my notes? Yes, it was in Rapidlash, but it's now not allowed. That one was never proven to work, as in there was never any, you know, blind studies done. And when I say blind studies, in research, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, and for those of you that know, I've just left working in medical research. For something to be proven, it means that it has to have had a double-blind study, double-blind randomized study. What that means is that you, everybody is blind and don't know whether or not you're getting the real thing. So that means the patient doesn't know if they're getting the real thing. It means the doctor doesn't know if they're getting the real thing. And it's all just done randomly, and so you just get picked. Somebody who has nothing to do with the study will pick out and decide whether you randomly pick out and let, say, the chemist know what one you're to get, and nobody else will know it, because there is something called the placebo effect. And the placebo effect is such an amazingly strong emotion that I don't think people understand it. Actually, I could do a whole video talking about the placebo effect, and while I'm talking about it, let me tell you something that will maybe let you know how strong the placebo effect can be. We had a study at the hospital that I worked in, and it was for heart effects. I think it was either heart or diabetes. I can't remember the exact study, but the surgeon in charge of it was telling us that he had received 2 letters on this study, and the first one was basically, "You've ruined my life." I have never felt worse since taking this medication. It was a drug study. You know, I've been being sick, I've had upset bowels, everything has gone wrong with me. Basically, I'm going to sue you. This was awful. When something like that happens, you have to do what you call an unblind, and so they unblinded it, and that means you take away all the blindfolds and you find out what they're on to see if they're having a reaction, and the whole study stops, and you have to report it to the authorities, etc, etc. So all that was done, and he wasn't on the drug. When he found that out, he started feeling better. So that is, you know, he thought he was taking a drug. He wasn't. He was taking a sugar pill. Funny enough, that same study, the surgeon also got another letter, and it was telling him how wonderful this drug had made her life and how much better she was feeling, and she was hoping that she could get the drug at the end of the study and that it wasn't going to run out, etc, etc. The whole thing happened again, unblinding. She wasn't on it either. I don't know actually what happened to her after that, but that's how strong the placebo effect is. You can make things happen in your life. You could take a paracetamol, it might not work. It might just be the fact that you think it's going to work. That's how strong your mind is. I can't express this enough because I think there'll be so many people that won't believe it. But what I'm trying to say about lash serums is you could put a lash serum on and there could be no growth, but you could see growth because you believe that product to be working, and you might spend more time on mascara. You might just see yourself differently in the mirror. And that can happen. But you know what? The placebo effect is a good thing, because if you feel like your lashes are thicker and longer, then that's not a bad thing, is it? Why did I go off on that ramble? It was because I was talking about proven, and to be proven something needs to have a double-blind randomised clinical trial, etc. So what I was saying about isopropyl chlorprostonate is that it has not been proven, but it does seem to work, and it does seem to actually work as opposed to it just being a placebo effect. The next ingredient, I can read it to you, but it's a bit of a mouthful. A bit is an understatement. Declodihydroxydifluoroethylchlorprostanolamide. That is a synthetic prostaglandin. So you remember the first one I talked about was bimatoprost, that's a prostaglandin. The second one was isopropyl chlorprostonate, which was in Rapidlash. I get those two names mixed up because they're very close. And then this one that I've just mentioned is a synthetic prostaglandin that is owned by Revitalash, not Rapidlash, Revitalash. So those are the three kind of main ingredients that seem to work. Okay, so enough on the kind of ingredient side of things. I'm going to talk about the products now, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 to talk about here, and then I'll tell you at the end what I'm going to use going forward. So the first product I'm going to talk about is Latisse, and Latisse is £105, so it's very, very expensive. It does have bimatoprost in it. That's the ingredient, remember I said, that is proven to work. So if you 100% want to know that what you're buying is going to increase your lash growth and volume, then Latisse is the way to go. It's £105, like I said, so very, very expensive. And the availability is, I only found 2 websites in the UK. I think in the USA you have to get it prescribed. But in the UK I found 2 websites. One is called mylash.org and the other is called Skin Station. I haven't ordered from either of these websites. I haven't used Latisse, but that's what I found. So I've put side effects here to tell you about the side effects that are known, but some of them there won't be any side effects because I haven't tried them. But for Latisse, one of the things that people worry about with bimatoprost is that it will change your eye colour. There's a lot of not rumours, but a lot of people out there say that it's changed their eye colour and that there is a big risk of, if you've got brown eyes, you'll suddenly have blue eyes. It's not really that simple. Basically, it will only change your eye colour if you get it in your eyes. So if you make sure to put it on your eyelid, on your skin, then it won't affect your eyes. It needs to get into your eyes to affect your eye colour. The other thing is it will only affect light eye colours. If you've got very dark brown eyes, it's not going to change your eye colour. If you've got very, very light eyes and you get it in your eyes and you get a lot of it in your eyes, then it may well slightly affect your eye colour. Application with all of these is once daily. So they're all in a little tube with an eyeliner brush, or most of them are anyway, because actually I'm saying that either Rapidlash or Revitalash might have a brush. I just didn't get that because there is absolutely nothing to be gained really by putting stuff on your actual eyelashes, because like hair, you know, you're not going to do very much. You might condition them, they might feel a little bit more fluffy, but you need to put something at the base if you're wanting eyelashes to grow. So you use it like an eyeliner brush, you apply it once, preferably at night, like you would eyeliner. So Latisse is one of the proven ones. I haven't tried Latisse. Next on the list is Lilash, and this one is very interesting because firstly because I've used this for years, and secondly because the ingredient is bimatoprost. But what I don't understand, I'm kind of confused, is I don't believe that bimatoprost shouldn't really be available without prescription, even in the UK, from what I can tell. And people are talking about the fact that Latisse is the only thing that has bimatoprost in it. What I wonder has happened is that they're talking about the USA, and that in the USA Latisse is the only thing with bimatoprost in it. But I have used Lilash in the past, and it definitely works. Either that or it was the placebo effect, but I don't think so. It was such a dramatic difference because, like I said, I've got very short stubby eyelashes, and I used it, and I remember I stopped using it thinking it wasn't working. So at that point the placebo effect was the reverse. I thought it wasn't working, but a few weeks later I had lovely big eyelashes and was like, wow, what's happened there? And it's because it takes 6 weeks after you initially start using it, or it can take up to 6 weeks. You generally, if your eyelashes are going to grow, that's the other thing, because of the cycles, you're not going to see a difference in 2 weeks. With growth, you might do with a little bit of conditioner, a little bit of peptides, so you won't see a difference in eyelash growth in 2 weeks. So yeah, I use Lilash. It is £90. I bought it from the powder room. You can also buy it on Amazon, and I would have said 100% buy it from the powder rooms, because from the powder rooms it's £90 and they were the only official supplier of Lilash. However, the last time I looked on powder rooms, the site was not working. On Amazon, however, it's much cheaper, but it's not guaranteed. Sorry, I'm actually going to try and look and see if the powder rooms are up again from when, because it was quite a while ago I did this spreadsheet. No, it says it's still under development, so you can't buy it from the powder rooms at the moment, but on Amazon you can buy it for a lot less, so it's probably, I think, £40–50 as opposed to £90, so quite a big difference. However, there's a lot of people out there that say the ones on Amazon are fake. I ordered one from Amazon and used it and it didn't work, and it wasn't in a box and sealed, so I can see how that would be the case. So although it's a lot less money, it's an awful waste of money if it isn't the real thing. Maybe you could email and ask if it comes in a sealed package, and if it doesn't, then you could get your money back, you know. The Lilash did last me 6 months, so I thought that wasn't too bad, because the Urban Decay Lush Lash that I'll speak about later only lasts me 3 months. Something else to mention about Lilash is it's got a very irritating preservative in it, and I only found that after I stopped using it. But I stopped using it because it made my eyes red. It made my eyelids very red, and that is something that may well happen with anything that is going to actually work. So like I said, I used Lilash for years. I used it in the run up to my wedding because I didn't want to wear false eyelashes on the day in case they came off, and I don't want it to be as comfortable as possible. I didn't want eyelash extensions because I believe they ruin your eyelashes and are bad for you from the experiences I've heard. So I used Lilash that was probably the 6th year or the 5th year I'd used it. I had a little break of about a year because it stopped working for me, and I thought I'll give myself a break and use it again, and it did work. In the run up to my wedding it did work, and that was after having that year's break, but it wasn't as dramatic. It was never as dramatic as it was in the first couple of years that I used it. So like I said, I then got red eyelids from it, so red that I went to the cinema to meet my friend to watch, I think she wanted somebody to go with her to watch Harry Potter, and because it was a late showing, I say late, it was probably 9 or 10 o'clock, but I'm normally in bed at that time, and it wasn't far from me, and I thought, you know what, after that I just want to go home and go to bed. I don't want to go home and take all my makeup off, so I took it all off before I went to the cinema. And I met her, and I was coming down the escalator, I was halfway down, and she was like at the bottom waiting for me, and she was like, oh my god, are you okay, give me a hug? And I was like, what is it? And she said, you've been crying. And I was like, I haven't, that's the stuff I use on my eyes, because it didn't ever really bother me about the red eyes, because I never go without makeup anyway, so you know, nobody's really going to see it except perhaps Kev sometimes, you know. So anyway, just to let you know what happened with that one and why I stopped using it, because it wasn't working. Okay, next, Revitalash Advanced, and it's very important that I say Revitalash Advanced, because there is Revitalash and Revitalash Advanced, and they seem to have different ingredients. But Revitalash Advanced has the synthetic prostaglandin that I told you, that third ingredient that's got that long name, declodihydroxy, difluoro, etc, etc. That is a synthetic prostaglandin owned by Revitalash, which means that it seems to work, but it's not proven to work. That is in Revitalash Advanced. That is sold on Amazon. I haven't looked actually to see if it's sold anywhere else, but that one is £60. It's not one that I've tried to my knowledge. I have tried Revitalash and it did bugger all. But I don't know whether it was Revitalash Advanced. I can't remember. I even tried to look at my Amazon list because it was one I got from Amazon. And I remember that it didn't seem like there was much in the tube. It just seemed like from the minute I got it, there was hardly anything on. I'm just going to put it into Google to have a look at the images and make sure I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah, it seems like when I used Revitalash, there was hardly anything on the brush, hardly any liquid. It was sealed when I got it. I got it from Amazon. Like I said, it's about £60, but it didn't do anything for me. It didn't work at all. So I didn't have any side effects from that one though. Then the next one on my list is Rapidlash. That one did absolutely nothing for me either, but the ingredients of that are only peptides and conditioners. Did I tell you yeah, I did tell you the ingredients of that. Peptides and conditioners, it's £25 on Amazon, but there are people that think it's worked for them. So like I said, that could be placebo, and it could be just once you start using something that you believe is going to make your lashes longer, I suppose this is placebo, you're going to start looking after your lashes and you're going to start noticing your lashes. That's just the way the mind works. And you're going to, like I said, maybe put more mascara on, etc. But if there are conditioners in there and there are peptides, they are not going to have an adverse effect on your lashes. They are going to have a little bit of an effect. So that may be something that people notice. So that was Rapidlash, £25 on Amazon. Next, I'm talking about Lilash. This one is very interesting. This is the one I'm currently using. And when I say currently, I barely remember to use it, to be honest. And I haven't noticed any difference. I did use it for a good couple of weeks at the beginning, and I have never noticed any difference, and it was way more than 6 weeks ago that I used it. I bought it because Lisa D1 swears by it, and she was saying she can see the difference. Do you remember I talked at the beginning about that second ingredient, isopropyl chlorprostonate, that is chemically similar to bimatoprost, which is a prostaglandin. So it's a prostaglandin analogue, this isopropyl chlorprostonate. Probably sounds like I'm speaking Japanese. I remember when I first started hearing these things before I did my studies and, you know, worked in the industry, I was like, could you repeat that, please? But the interesting thing about Lilash is that it is suggested that there is actually a prostaglandin in it, or a prostaglandin analogue or a derivative. There's people that are scientists that have looked into the ingredients, and even though the ingredients don't say that there is anything in it, because it's not allowed anymore, you're not allowed. Remember I said that, I can't remember, Rapidlash or Revitalash, Rapidlash had isopropyl chlorprostonate in it, but they're now not allowed to put it in it. So it seems like there are companies putting it in it but not declaring that they're putting it in it, which is highly illegal. But like I said, people have analysed these tubes and found that there are prostaglandin analogues in them. This would actually make sense to me when you've got people like Lisa D1 that is so convinced that Lilash is working for her, because like I said, there is the placebo effect, but understand that placebo effect is nothing to do with intelligence. It doesn't matter if you are completely uneducated or the most intelligent person in the world, placebo effect applies. It's just the power of the mind. But I don't know, there's something about the way that Lisa D1 talks about it, that it doesn't seem like it's just a mild effect. It seems like it's a very dramatic effect. And with these findings, I would say that perhaps there is something in it. For me personally, I haven't found a difference with Lilash, but I haven't used it as concentrated as I should. Goodness, that was a long one about that. The only thing I didn't tell you there is it's £56 on Amazon. It does also have alcohol in it, which is not good. So I think that's something else. I found out about it and didn't really want to use it on my eyes because, you know, you don't really want to be putting alcohol along your eye line, do you? Okay, and one final one to talk about is the Urban Decay Lush Lash System. This is £28 from Debenhams and House of Fraser in the UK, and the ingredients in it are peptides and conditioners. Now, bearing in mind that I've said I've used two with peptides and conditioners in it, the Rapidlash and Revitalash, and I didn't get any result from them at all. With the Urban Decay Lush Lash, I did get results. There's no ingredient in there that will give you eyelash growth, but what it is it's an eyeliner that you put along your eyes, and then you use a brush and you put it at the base of your lashes, and it is a conditioner, and it makes your eyelashes white, although that disappears after a few minutes. I used it for 8 weeks. It's a double-ended serum. It doesn't last as long as Lilash because you've only got half the amount of serum and the other half is the brush. But it's something that I would use again because I did feel like my lashes were healthier. I think that's the difference between lash growth and between the ingredient that works and the ones that don't. With the ingredient that works, you will feel like a dramatic growth in your lashes and that you no longer need to wear false eyelashes, etc. With ones that just have peptides and conditioners, you'll feel like there is, your lashes are healthier and they look better and perhaps a little bit longer and a little bit thicker, but nothing dramatic. So that's what I found with the Urban Decay Lush Lash. It may be because of the peptides and conditioners, it may be the placebo effect. You're probably sick of hearing about this at the moment. It's £28, I think I said that. I'm not going to buy it again though, because what did happen with it was it made my eyes itch, but it only lasted for about an hour after I'd put it on. So I put it on once at night, and I wanted to scratch my eyes for like I said, about half an hour to an hour afterwards. I really wanted to itch my eyes, and I'm not very good at resisting with things like that. Kev's really good. If he's got like lumps or anything like that, he's good at not itching it, but me, no. And so I started to I was rubbing my eyes and I was trying to slap them, and it's just, that's no good, you know, that's not good for your eyes anyway. You need to treat your eyes delicately. So I wouldn't buy Urban Decay Lush Lash again. Actually, would I? No, I wouldn't. That would be silly. So after all that, what will I use going forward? Well, I will definitely finish this bottle of new lash, and I'm trying to remember and use it at night. I'm currently experimenting with false eyelashes a bit more. I've actually got false eyelashes on today, just in the corners. I cut one in half and put it in each corner. The problem with false eyelashes to me is they're not good for your eyes either, because, well, for my eyes anyway, because I have to put so much glue on, or such a good glue, because it pops up in the middle, that when I take my eyelashes off and even use my oily eye makeup remover, I've always got little bits of glue that I need to scrape off from the base of my lashes, and that's not good for your lashes. But I am experimenting with eyelashes and eyelash glue and that kind of thing. But I will continue to use that new lash until it's finished. At the end of that, there will be two things that I will consider. It will either be Revitalash Advanced from Amazon, which is £60, which is the one that has a synthetic prostaglandin analogue in it, or is believed to have that in it. Or I will go for Latisse, which is 105. But the Latisse is what I prefer to use, and if it was I knew it was a official seller, I would probably go for Latisse. So if I was in the USA and it was easy to get a prescription for it, I'd probably do that. But the mylash.org and the Skin Station, they're not ones I've heard of. You know what I mean? It's difficult to know, whereas at least if you're getting it from Amazon, there's a little bit more cover. It doesn't mean it's not fake or anything, but also £60 is a lot less. I'd prefer to pay £60 for the Revitalash Advanced and give it a go. So that's what I might do going forward, but I'm certainly not in any rush to buy it, because like I said, I'm trying to experiment with lashes more. There's a couple of lashes that I'd like to try. A friend of mine on YouTube, Sophie Shohei, is coming out with lashes, and I want to try her lashes. They're mink lashes. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Anyway, that's my opinion at the end of all that. So I know that was a very long video. I hope you managed to stay with me if you were interested in it, and I hope I managed to explain it in as understandable a way as possible. It's not a simple thing to explain at all, or even to understand. So if you've got any questions, of course, you can let me know in the comments. If anybody has had any experience with any eyelash serums, as always, leave details in the comments, because that helps everybody, you know, then you're not just getting my opinion and what happens to me, because obviously everybody's got different eyes and different cycles in their eyelashes and things like that, you know. One of my viewers actually is a cancer survivor, and was saying that she has no eyebrows. So I did just want to quickly mention that the only thing proven to work for eyebrows is minoxidil, I think it's called. Did I put it down here? Yeah, minoxidil. So if you can't use lash serums on your brow, well, you can use them, but you won't see anything other than the peptides and conditioners. The same kind of thing applies, but it's a different ingredients, because it's a different physiological process for your brows. So an eyelash growth won't necessarily work on your brows. But Regain for men, which has got minoxidil as the ingredient, and you get a big pot of it, that is more likely to work on your eyebrows. So if you have thinning eyebrows, try Regain. And actually that's something I might well try myself. I'd just buy a little brush from Hobbycraft or something and brush it on that inner part of my brows. In fact, I'm going to put that on my list to try, and I can let you guys know how I get on. So that's everything. Let me give you a rundown of what's on my face. I'm really pleased with how my makeup turned out today, actually. This is I was going to say it's the matte waterproof foundation. It isn't at all. That's what I used yesterday. Today I used the Dior Skin Forever foundation in 011 Cream. On my eyes is the Anastasia palette called the World Traveller palette, which I love so far. This is only my second day using it. This is the colour called, I think it's called Pink Champagne, but it's the whole palette I've used on my eyes. I didn't do a tutorial for this one. I did for the blue look yesterday, but I'm going to just experiment with this palette, and then I'll probably do another look with it. On my cheeks I used Urban Decay Quiver, and on my lips I have got the Marc Jacobs lip liner in Primrose, which is something else I saw in Lisa do one and was just like, that colour's amazing. Of course it doesn't look the same on me. I always forget how different things look depending on your skin colour, and Lisa D1 is darker than me, but I seriously don't see skin colour. It's ridiculous. I don't ever notice that people are different shades, if you know what I mean, and I should remember that, because it makes the lipstick look completely different. But I do like it. It looks a lot darker on me, I feel like. That's everything. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope this was useful, and I'll speak to you again soon.